Our next guest, Ivory Hecker, knows this story all too well, as she's a former Fox affiliate reporter who left to expose the mainstream media corruption. She joins us now in studio. Ivory, thanks so much for being here. It's great to have you.
Great to be here.
So, Ivory, I've got to know, what are your thoughts on this whole Tucker situation?
I'm kind of surprised that Fox is going after Tucker. This was my concern when I left Fox, because I worked for a Murdoch-owned station. And I knew that if they went after me legally for breach of contract, that it would only promote me and make them look bad. So I think that's why they didn't go after me. But they're actually choosing that route against Tucker, which is again going to make Fox look worse, I think, because the viewers are saying, wait, why are you trying to shut this man down when he's simply expressing his views on Twitter? You can't do that. But people don't realize the Fox contracts are extremely stringent. They have a stranglehold on everyone who works for them. You're completely owned by Fox. And I think that's how it is with a lot of media outlets, which is why I think you don't see as many people break away. Because even after, if they do decide to throw in the towel on their career as a reporter or anchor, many of these contracts actually have a clause that muzzles them either for years or sometimes for eternity. I talked to one corporate news reporter who, she reached out to me after I left Fox, and she was so frustrated with her experience. She threw in the towel in the pandemic, and I told her, I think you really need to tell your story. She had a similar story to me. Hers actually involved human trafficking. She was in one of the top human trafficking cities in America. And her outlet was aware of countless stories of human trafficking and shutting them all down, protecting the traffickers. But she told me that her contract had a clause that said, for eternity, you cannot say anything that might make the TV station look bad. So she's muzzled for life. It's horrible. So I think more media members need to be aware of what they're signing. A lot of people get so excited about signing a TV contract. They're like, woo, I'm going to be on TV. And they don't realize they just gave away their free speech for life.
Insane. I can't even imagine being in that position, but even more props to Tucker for being brave enough and bold enough to stand up and break away from that. I can't even imagine what that must be like, but you know what it's all about, Ivory. I mean, you've been through it. What inspired you to want to leave? I know many people have already heard your incredible story, but share with us what happened to you and why you chose to leave Fox.
Right. Well, I had a 9-year corporate news career working for a couple of Fox affiliates, a couple of NBC affiliates, and the most recent one was actually owned by the Murdochs, and, you know, which was my dream job. I had always wanted to be a Fox reporter. And, but things really changed in 2020. This stranglehold on the narrative happened across the nation. Every reporter and anchor at any outlet was in lockstep saying the same thing, and it was kind of weird. But I was like, well, my job is just, as a reporter, is to go out and collect what's going on the ground. Typically, I was a crime reporter, but in the pandemic, everyone shifted to being a COVID reporter. And so when things on the ground didn't match the national narrative, that's when I got in trouble, which I was like, you know, I wouldn't always pay too much attention to the national narrative because that's none of my business. My job is to just see what is in front of me on the ground as a reporter and bring that to the public's eye. But when Fox sent me to interview a doctor who was treating patients in a way that did not align with the national news narrative, that is when they threatened to fire me, which stunned me. And that is just one of the topics that Fox began to create a fake narrative about. Another topic was elections. Another topic actually was crime involving race.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.